At Gramercy Counseling, we believe that healing begins with honest conversations, especially in communities where mental health has too often been silenced. As a company rooted in cultural awareness and dedicated to serving diverse families and individuals, we're honored to sit down with acclaimed actor and activist, Gael García Bernal, a voice for social justice, identity, and human connection. In this conversation, we explore how Latino communities can reimagine masculinity, embrace emotional wellness, and break generational cycles of silence. Through his work and words, Gael offers insights that are not only profound, but deeply relevant to anyone seeking to own their story and shape a more open, emotionally healthy future. Gael, thank you so much for being here with me today to speak about a topic that I'm very passionate about and something that affects us all, mental health.
Absolutely. No, thank you. Thank you. And thank you for the invitation. And indeed, it is something that is very, I don't know, it sparks up many interesting conversations to talk about mental health. I mean, it is, yes,
For
it is
sure.
something to be talked about.
For sure. I appreciate it. So let's begin. You and I have a lot in common. As the co-founder of Ambulante Film Festival, you're passionate about amplifying underrepresented voices and through documentary films and utilizing movies as a device for social transformation. As the founder of my company, Gramercy Counseling, I'm also passionate about initiating social change and creating opportunities for personal transformation by providing mental health services to diverse and underrepresented communities. Can you please share where your desire to amplify underrepresented voices comes from? Why is this so important to you?
Mm-hmm. It is definitely in the genesis of Ambulante. The anecdote is a very specific one. There was this documentary that a friend of mine who was studying cinema at the time, he made as his thesis, and it's called Trópico de Cáncer, and my friend is called Eugenio Polkowski, and he did this documentary as an exercise for his thesis, and it ended up being an amazing documentary. That back in the day, documentaries were, they were very clandestine. They were not seen in cinemas. They were left to very specific niche festivals that they were where you have to be in the know to understand what you were looking for. To know when they're being exhibited. No,
Right.
So they weren't. The documentaries didn't accomplish the full cycle of a documentary, which is, it would be great for the people that participated in the documentary to see it.
Yeah.
No, to see the film. And so this documentary was shot in a place where the Tropic of Cancer crosses in San Luis Potosí and I think the border with Hidalgo in Mexico. And this is a very poor area where we thought, wouldn't it be great if we can take this documentary there?
Yeah.
No? So when we were pondering how to do this, we were very idealistic. I mean, we still are, but back in those days, we were like thinking of the impossibilities. No,
Yeah.
Let's do something. I mean, how can we take the documentary over there? And there was this friend who said, why don't we take this documentary there, but we take other documentaries to this place? But why don't we make it as a kind of like the tours that certain bands do, like music bands that they travel around and they present in different cities and stuff. And it was a thing of immediately, yes, absolutely. And then the name came up of Ambulante. And so there, in a way, the need to show these realities or these film exercises of this underrepresented societies, underrepresented people. Sorry, it comes naturally whenever there's a documentary. It's like it comes within.
Pero eso te nace, ¿verdad? O sea, hay un local dentro de ti, me imagino, que te llama, que hagas esto.
And I've wondered why where this comes from, where this need comes from. I think my best interlocutor for these things is Diego Luna. No, for these questions, because I like we grew up together and we share very similar points of view. And so we talked about like why did we get ourselves into this, no, in such a way that that it leads us to a lot of responsibilities and a lot of a lot of also criticism from different sides, no, and everything, and why are we doing this, no? And I think it has to do definitely with the context that we grew up in. We grew up in a very politicized moment in Mexico where we became very active as well in a very loving and active political households as well, and we saw that we could change many things with our own hands, as soon as we started to work as well. And we thought, okay, this, like Spider-Man, this brings great responsibilities. Like also
it's
there
true.
was something that we were able to change. But I think ultimately, this very elemental basic satisfaction that even religion has talked about this, which is doing things for others.
Right.
It's the best satisfaction, and it makes you feel that you belong. It makes you feel that you belong to a bigger community, to that moment in life, as fast as it can be. You feel that you're doing something that might help transcend something, make things better for the next generations. I don't know, like, and for the people that exist in our generation as well. I don't know. So I think it goes on a very elemental kind of I wouldn't say human expression, but I think more natural expression. More nature does that. That kind of like, how can we make this better? No, that's how humans have survived. No, throughout. I mean, by working together, and there's, I mean, there. Perdón, ahora voy a cambiar a español un poquito porque se me fue un poquito no hay mayor satisfacción que sentir que eres parte de una comunidad. Es de las cosas más bonitas, ¿no? Que se sienten como cuando empiezas a ser un ente, un miembro importante de esa comunidad, todo aflora, todo tu ser, ¿no? La soledad se va, el sentimiento feo de la soledad, porque la soledad es bonita, pero la soledad, ese sentimiento de solitud, ¿no? O de desolación, ¿no? Se acaba, ¿no? Entonces, pues creo que de ahí viene, la verdad. Viene de una necesidad también muy personal, ¿no?
Claro, no, Ana, te quiero las gracias por entrar profundamente a la respuesta de la pregunta que te acabo de hacer, porque estás hablando sobre un tema que sí se relaciona muchísimo a la humanidad. Es un deseo de tener esa conexión, de tener como to give life more meaning. And it's like you get more meaning through your giving, which is so interesting. It's like through giving, you get. And it's sort of
immediately.
In my profession, it was something really unexpected because as a therapist, I go just to give. I go into the most painful spaces of people's lives that they invite me to, and it's such an honor. And then later in reflections and in journaling, with tears kind of streaming down my eyes, I realized what I've received in return, and it wasn't the purpose.
Exactly.
It's just something that comes out.
It comes out, no?
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your thoughtful response. Thank you.
Thank you.
So my second question. In many Latino families, mental health has long been a taboo topic, especially for men. As an actor, your craft demands emotional vulnerability to truly connect to audiences. Growing up in Mexico and now living as a public figure, how has your relationship with vulnerability evolved over time? And what do you think needs to shift culturally or socially for more Latino men to feel safe expressing their emotional struggles?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's interesting because there is this every spectrum of what can be called machismo or the most, let's say, the most finished concept of masculinity.
Mm-hmm.
in every context there are many contradictions.
Yes.
Because on one hand, yes, there is this sort of stereotype of or this prejudice that maybe in Latino families the men have to be incredibly strong and kind of like very close and not show their emotions or not be vulnerable to changing their opinions and those kind of things. But at the same time, when you look at it culturally, the music, for example, most of the mariachi songs, most of the boleros, of the tangos, in all the Latin American spectrum, most of them are incredibly, like thought-provoking and emotionally very, very complex songs about letting go, about realizing the pain that one has, and expressing that way, and so it is, and I would say that those in music, for example, it is far much more complex and much more explored, that area, than it is in the English speaking music.
Absolutely.
And so there's that interesting contradiction, no? But so why, therefore, there isn't that? No, that doesn't spark and I think it has to do with I mean, definitely being an actor and finding myself as an actor, because at the same time there were many moments in my life where I didn't want to be an actor. I wanted to do something else and act every now and then. But finding myself as an actor was a very interesting kind of reconciliation and sort of an apology to what I was doing. And by that, what I want to mean is I found something very interesting through being an actor. I found I could live many lives within one life. For example, I found that I could sublimate and express myself and my inner torments and inner joy through a tangent, through a sublimation that was not necessarily my voice speaking, but it was through the life of others, or through the experience, or through the words of other characters. And that definitely gives you a lot of comfort and emotionally it makes you stronger in a way. It also opens you. It also opens you to realize what the hell's going on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've played so many complex characters. I mean, we'll get into that because we'll be here all day. But I mean, it's true. I mean, you've had the privilege of being able to play such diversity of characters that really represent so many pieces of the human experience in the spectrum.
Yeah, no, it's been wonderful. It's been very lucky. So, yeah, I think that okay, but going back to your question specifically, there's one thing that I would love to mention. I mean, like, I remember in Mexico in particular, when we showed Y Tu Mamá También.
How can one forget? How can you ask me that?
that film,
that movie was just profound.
Yeah, it was really, really fun and really great to see the consequences of that film in a way, because it was I don't know, throughout the world it was seen as this kind of film that was completely free, and it celebrated the life and love and at the same time trying out. You came out of that film wanting to live, and to have an experience like that as well.
I mean, just to imagine,
exactly. So that film, I think, kind of was also a witness or a catalyst, or maybe kind of a just a reflection on what Mexico, or I would include many Latin American countries, were going through, like a sort of change of, and from the adolescence to the maturity, like a moment of
transition.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Let's agree that the taboos are long gone, in a way, and a lot of things have changed from those days till now. A lot. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe a very, very obvious example is we have a president here in Mexico, no, a presidenta that like, who would have thought that? I mean, I remember betting with a friend, telling them, like, I think Mexico is going to have a woman president before the United States. And I won I won the bet because there's something that I think we don't in the general sort of cultural consensus. I mean, there isn't an appreciation so much for the things that have evolved and have changed and for the better. There's many things still to change, of course. I mean, but in Latin America, it's very interesting what has happened.
No, I mean, we're very inspired. Those of us that live in the United States, I was telling my friend, I want to move to Mexico because, I mean, you think about progressive countries and progressive social dynamics, and sadly, we're in a time in my country where there's so much happening. To think about a woman sitting in the White House is something that right now feels very out of reach. So to be here in Mexico, en la nación de mi madre, to know that there's a female president right now, it's just a deep, deep honor to just even know that that's happening. So you're absolutely right. There's so much that has changed. As you stated, there's more work to be done, but it's beautiful to see the progress that's happening socially.
Yeah.
And and there's a big correlation to mental health. So what would you say needs to happen for men to become more comfortable in Latin America and expressing their emotional struggles? Or
Well, I mean, definitely in the world, I would say there is a very interesting and necessary crisis of masculinity, and crisis in the best sense of the word. I mean, the sense of, like, we're in that moment of our grandparents were taught about what it was to be the perfect man, and that concept, thankfully, doesn't exist anymore. Of the perfect man doesn't exist because we know the perfection is completely, is so subjective, but at the same time there's no I mean, I don't know, perfection is something mathematical, no?
Right.
I mean,
it doesn't exist,
it's not something
human...
exactly, no?
Yeah.
So now there is in every society and in every kind of, how to say it, like a microcosmos of every society, there is a questioning, and it's at stake in everything that we do, no? So I would say that there are many things that are happening. Again, trusting the process of what has been going on. We will see the change little by little. There is something that happens now with parents, for example, with something when I speak in English, I don't know when to say los padres, not the mothers, but the fathers.
Los padres,
yes,
sí,
exactly.
Sí.
With the fathers, yes, with fathers now that I would adventure myself to say and to actually claim that fathers now want to be more with their kids than fathers 25 years ago.
For sure.
No, I think there is something.
Something's, I think, changing, shifting.
Something changed, exactly. And yeah, I mean, in Latin American societies, well, I mean, in the post-war, post-Second World War context, there were many men left, no, to work in other places, to live in the United States or in other countries, and there was a lot of that. There was a vacuum of that, no. But now I can see that many fathers want to be with their kids, and that I think is naturally going to give a lot of changes to the world. I mean, because I don't know if there has been a moment in human history where fathers were very keen on being close to their kids. I don't know if it has happened like that, or maybe yes, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Now I feel I can see it a little bit more.
Yeah, and I think you're touching on the theme of socialization, because historically, men of previous generations, especially when I think of my grandfather and to some degree my own father, there was almost a social expectation that they be strong, and the word strong was defined in a certain way. In observations of older generations of people in my family, and even some of the clients I've worked with, I've noticed that the word strong, as it related to the male identity, really required that they deny parts of their humanity.
Yeah.
And that they, at a very young age, divorce aspects of vulnerability. And that was praised socially. So as these little boys become teenagers, and as those teenagers become men, sadly, they start to experience challenges socially, difficulties connecting with partners, difficulties connecting with children, difficulties connecting with themselves. And I think it's been a tragedy to sort of observe that. I'm in the work of bringing healing to people and helping people walk through the journey of rediscovering themselves and re-emerging and sort of shifting and reuniting those parts of identity that they sort of lost or become separated from at very young ages. So I think you're right. Now we're talking more about how valuable it is for all people, but especially men, to, stay courageous and stay strong. Because if you think about it, it takes a lot of courage to be vulnerable. It's hard.
Yeah.
Es súper difícil decir, me duele esto, necesito ayuda. And I'm a woman. I'd rather say something else.
Exactly.
And that's because society has given me all the permission. It's still hard for me to say, I need help, or I'm struggling. It's still very difficult. But so I can't even imagine.
But do you see it in your practice? Do you see that change? I mean, the one I'm mentioning? Is it, yeah? Do you see it?
So I see it when I work with couples, for example. I see that a lot. The woman saying, I feel alone and isolated, and I want to talk to him, but he doesn't talk to me. It's all surface. Le pregunto cómo le fue el día. Me platica del trabajo, pero nunca de su vida emocional. Yo quiero entrar más allí. And oftentimes, the guy doesn't know how to do it. No es que no quiere, es que no puede, no es que no quiere y que no puede, es que no sabe cómo, porque no tiene la práctica. So what I do in my work is I help him practice, and I help them practice. And so sometimes I see it there. I also see it when people come in for family services, que viene toda la familia, right? And I start kind of examining the different players, and I realize there's a big desire here. Because I hear the different family members complaining. It's because my dad doesn't talk to me. No, my husband doesn't check on me. And I'm the first one to say, but he's here in the room with you. He came. He didn't have to come here. He got in the car. He drove here. He parked the car. He paid the copay. He walked in. So he's here. There's a part of him that really wants connection too.
That is that, yeah.
And I'm reading behavior. So for me, I look beyond the thing that's happening to find the meaning. And so I see it more and more. I now see more Latinos coming for services. Y ha sido algo súper especial para mí como profesional poder ver esos cambios. And so I agree with you. I'm seeing it more. And I think even conversations like this is super helpful. I'm just, for anybody that's going to watch this at some point, they're going to say, if Gael can talk about it, maybe I can too.
Exactly.
So
hopefully, yeah. It definitely. I mean, there is sometimes you run into someone speaking, about this and pondering about this, that definitely sparks your ability to say, yes, of course, why not? Let's do it. Yeah. It's true.
We have to get away from the idea that we're only going to talk about our feelings in the boleros and the bars.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? We got to talk about it here too. Well, my final question. Yeah. Your commitment to reflecting the rawness of the human experience in your films has captivated audiences and garnered you critical, international acclaim. Your work has explored complex, universal, humanistic themes such as identity, hope, resilience, and suffering. It's part of why your work resonates so deeply with so many people. You show what profound personal struggles really look like in your films. For someone who may be watching this, who may be struggling in silence, may be unsure if they deserve support or how to get it, what would you want them to know?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. Yes, in films or in any cultural expression, there is always, a little like an opening, or a kind of an open question that inspires you, to go forth and kind of like try to keep on, addressing that and then kind of entering that whatever that initiates in you. I would say that opening up to cultural expression is definitely a way into finding out something about oneself. Sometimes it's difficult to put words to things because definitely there are many, I would argument that there are many experiences that sometimes it's good to put words to it, and sometimes it's good to just to trust what you're feeling without putting words to it. Just it's okay. It's okay that it's contradictory. It's okay that it's like, I feel this and that at the same time. No problem. But I would say that the exposing yourself to the sublimation of any art form is something that helps a lot to find something, not to find yourself, to have that dialogue within yourself. And then if that inspires you to not only do that questioning, but then to manifest it in an artistic way also, in whatever shape and form, it is incredible, because then you're able to have that other area of your life that where that incorporates the concept of the artistic journey, And I think when we were in Austin, we talked about it.
Yeah, we did talk about this in Austin. I remember that.
Yeah, but this concept of the artistic journey that is so little talked about and seen and valued as well. It is not only about career. It's not only about that kind of linear progression about in life. It is more about living a life well lived as well.
Exactly.
With all its potential, no? And so definitely it is something. Sports helps, but at the same time do something else that is creative in that sense, no? That is kind of, I don't know, that exposes you and makes you, because putting yourself into the artistic ground and touching your hands in the mud with it immediately exposes you to something, puts you in a very vulnerable position. It's an opening. It's kind of like, but then I don't know.
Wow. No, I appreciate you saying that. So, but that's great advice, right? It's like seeking support is great, absolutely. But it's almost like you're encouraging people to, in addition, see if there's a way to artistically express that. And that's really beautiful. Well, Gael, I want to thank you so much for your time today. Muchísimas gracias por sentarte conmigo y hablar sobre la salud mental. Amigo, de todo corazón, te lo agradezco.
Sorry
Muchísimas
for my English.
gracias.
It's not good right now. No está bueno, sí, no, pero gracias.
No. Your English is absolutely perfect. And I also want to say that beyond a personal thank you, I want to thank you for creating places and spaces to showcase Latino talent.
Cool.
And also for elevating underrepresented voices and for creating opportunities for more community building beyond borders, beyond politics, beyond all the things that people generate. The things that we have in common as people and as humanity far outnumber and far outweigh the things that make us different and separate us.
Absolutely.
So I want to thank you.
Thank you
For your contributions.
No, thank you.
Of course.
Gracias.